Ever wonder where marine technicians and mechanics learn their skills? Well, some of them learn on the job and others go to places like North Atlantic Marine Services in Wareham, Massachusetts. Housed in a former car dealership, North Atlantic is a certified training campus for the Association of Marine Technicians, providing not only entry-level marine training, but also advanced technical training. The facility also offers classes to the average boater who wants to improve his or her marine-related skills, and it serves as a marine repair, storage, and maintenance shop. Among the many types of technical training conducted at North Atlantic is engine inspection, with an eye towards making sure that the engine meets Coast Guard safety standards. When we stopped by in late March, co-owner Steve Lawrence had finished conducting a class on fuel system inspection and had a very interesting engine on hand exhibiting a variety of Coast Guard violations that might not be obvious to the untrained eye. Now, one of the things that Steve and his crew do here at North Atlantic Marine Services is train technicians on how to recognize safety violations on engines. We have here a 1990 Mercruiser engine. It's an inboard engine that was taken off a vessel recently. Now, Steve, there's a number of fuel system violations on this particular engine. Why don't you walk us through what those are?
First thing is a fuel line. Fuel line itself is an automotive style fuel line. It actually has a bunch of specifications as well as numbers and manufacturers on it. And what happens is that this fuel line is an automotive style fuel line. It should be a A1-15 fuel line, which is a Coast Guard compliant fuel line. It does not. It does not meet that requirement. The A15 or A1-15, Tom, is a fuel line that actually can be put flame and a heat source to it and does not burn through in 3 minutes or less.
Mm-hmm. Now, so you're saying an automotive type hose doesn't have that capability.
That is correct.
Mm-hmm.
That is correct.
So somebody just basically went down to the automotive supply store, said, "Hey, I can get this hose for a good deal cheaper," but hey, thinking that it'd be okay, but it's not.
It is not. Absolutely. When we see it all the time, people cutting corners. Thinking that they're saving money and basically putting themselves in jeopardy, and everybody on the boat in jeopardy
Right.
as well.
There's a reason they have these regulations.
Absolutely correct.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
So moving on to the fuel pump, what have we got here?
Basically, what we're looking at here, Tom, is another non-Coast Guard compliant fact. We actually have a piece of fuel line which has been cut, and the fuel line put on top of it with a clamp. Mm-hmm. This has to be done with a bar. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
This right here can basically wiggle itself off.
Yeah,
slide down.
even if you have this hose clamp, it's not
Absolutely.
safe. It's not good enough.
It is not compliant doing that. So that's really our second issue that we're having right now.
Mm-hmm.
The third one, Tom, being this one right here. This is a fuel pump. It does not have the designation that is a marine fuel pump.
And you normally find that as
a sticker.
Be a sticker right on that.
Absolutely correct.
So you gotta look for
correct. What that does is to be a marine fuel pump or any kind of marine component, whether it's a fuel pump, starter, or alternator, okay, they actually take these, the manufacturer puts them into a gas environment or a gas fume environment and runs them, okay? That allows them to be able to be ignition protected, okay? Without that sticker, we do not know that this is a ignition protected component.
Uh-huh.
In other words, we can't assume it is. Without that sticker, we are liable for it. We have to assume that it isn't. Okay?
Makes sense.
Just to be safe for our customers and for our own shop liability as well as our own personal liability.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
From there, Tom, we move on to the next thing is the pressure line. A pressure line in a boat has to be made out of steel. Okay? Any pressure, any fuel that's being fed in a pressure line has to be a steel line. This, as we can see, is a rubber line. It does not meet the A1 15 burn rate, and it is connected to another piece of steel line which has been cut, forced on with a clamp.
So I see. So once again, somebody went to the automotive supply store, got a piece of cheaper hose, and then just kind of spliced it into the system.
Correct. Correct. Okay. Another very dangerous situation. From there, Tom, the last part of the piece of the puzzle that's going on here is this right here. This is actually a fuel pump that's been hardwired into the ignition system, okay? This itself is extremely dangerous. What happens in this scenario, and we'll just stay with this for a quick second, is that the line is chafed through, the customer sees that there's a fire on the back side of the boat, he jumps overboard, he or she jumps overboard, leaving the ignition system, ignition turned on, the fuel pump is running, okay? Basically dumping gasoline onto a fire, all kinds of issues and problems with that as we can imagine. This, to be Coast Guard compliant, this feed has to be through a oil pressure switch. The oil pressure switch will activate the fuel pump when the engine is in the cranking mode and has significant enough of pressure, or the engine is turned off, the fuel pump stops, allowing the fuel pump to stop.
Well, Steve, thanks a lot for walking us through this engine and showing us 4 very important, but maybe not so obvious, safety violations. We'll be back to check in with Steve and his crew here at North Atlantic Marine Services in Wareham. They're going to show us more about how to keep your boat safe and also what to look for in terms of Coast Guard compliancy. I'm Tom Richardson for Boating Local. Thanks for watching.